Thank you for coming to the opening reception for Concrete Scores Art App and Audio Space. My name is Jarvis. Sorry, I'm just catching my breath here in front of everyone. My name is Helen's looking at me. My name is Jarvis, and I'm one of the co-curators of the exhibition here, along with my good friend Peter Morin. As some of you may know, Peter has moved to Brandon, Manitoba. He had a harrowing story of driving here late after teaching the other night, and maybe he'll tell us a little bit about it. But I'm really happy that he made it, and you know, it's a lot flying through all these different places. But this is kind of. Can you all hear me?
That's working.
We get the effect. But yeah, welcome. This is kind of the culmination of quite a few months of planning and workshops and talks and meeting with artists and all kinds of different things. And I guess first of all, I want to say thank you to a lot of people. The Art App program, or the Art App program is kind of what got this whole exhibition kind of going, and it was funded by the BC Arts Innovation Fund. And Peter and I and Helen, we've kind of been working with this program for the last 2 years. Last year we did a series of circle ceremonies and incorporated that into kind of our process here in the exhibition. And this year we thought, well, let's play around with the idea of making an app. And we kind of used it as a conceptual framework, the design process of creating an app. Used that as a conceptual framework for, I guess, exploring how we might
Experience art. How do we experience art?
Yeah. A little bit of audience development, a little bit of like people coming into the gallery. Like, we're so happy to see so many people here, but it's kind of like all of you, some people, you know, you've been here before, you know this kind of space, and so it's. I'm sorry, I need to pause it. Is Miles there? Can you pause it? I feel like I'm feeding. Of course. Don't tell them.
Don't tell.
But we wanted to explore the idea of an app. You know, everyone has, lots of people have cell phones and the apps and kind of that assistive device. And we thought, well, why don't we explore, through a series of projects and workshops, how you might kind of engage artists, and the art process. And so we held a series of workshops. But the workshops were kind of designed around 3 main areas. And we were kind of interested in exploring like the early intermedia kind of genres of performance art, concrete poetry, and graphic scores. So graphic scores are the pictures that are kind of interpreted by musicians, like musical notation, but not, they're kind of images. Concrete poetry, and there's some good examples of concrete poetry where the text turns into a visual, and then performance art. And so all the artists in this exhibition are kind of exploring some of those genres in different ways. Now, this exhibition isn't meant to illustrate the ideas that we've been talking about, but it was a way for us to engage with the work that contemporary artists are doing, but incorporate that through a series of workshops and ways to engage members of the community around different ideas. So the first workshop was in June, and that was with the Ethos Collective, and they're coming back on February 1st. This is Chris Reicke, he's our new music coordinator. And so, we're kind of, a lot of this program has come out of our interdisciplinary program committee here at Open Space. So there's a lot of people coming and going, and it's very busy. But so the Ethos Collective, they did the first workshop, and then the second workshop was in September, and that was with Vest and Page and their performance art duo from Europe, and they conducted a 3-day intensive workshop, which was great. We were rolling around on the floor, blindfolded, all kinds of stuff. And then the third workshop was in November, and that was with Kathleen Ritter and Michael Nardone. And Michael is one of he wrote our catalog essay, our exhibition essay, and that's on one of the pieces. It's on this piece of paper. And it's also, as you come up the stairs, you see that it's good there. And then Kathleen Ritter, who has a work here, and she is also, I guess we commissioned them, the Art App program commissioned them. And Kathleen is creating a series of instructions on how to conceal and reveal yourself entering the gallery. So she's going to create these over the course of the month, and so there'll be a different, well, I guess a different instruction each day. And then the fourth workshop is tomorrow, and that's kind of an opportunity for us to meet with the artists and kind of talk a bit more about the program and the process. So that's kind of the Art App and the concrete poetry, the concrete scores exhibition, the relationship between them. But what's also great about this, as I mentioned, the interdisciplinary programming committee, is that we wanted to kind of bring in other events and kind of as associated programming. And that's where we have tonight the launch of Audio Space. And some of you may know that Audio Space has been running for quite a few years. And this is it really Audio Space 10?
It's the 10th year since Audio Space began. So this is actually, because it happens every second year, this is actually the 5th Audio Space. But it's the 10th year, and we thought we'd mark there must be a word for that. the 10th year as something special here. So for that, we got Paul Wall to curate.
Paul and his friend are new to Victoria now, moving from London, so we're happy that you guys have come here and are participating as much as you do. It's great. So for this year, Paul's idea was to kind of make a listening room, and that the idea has been around a long time, and I know there's a good number of people in the sound and music community who've been interested in us kind of dedicating a space for listening to sound art. And so Paul's curated a series of projects that will take place at Changing Artists each month. So tonight it's launching, and it's with Audio Lodge, and there's some didactic panels on the side there. Paul, do you want to say anything about the lineup?
Yeah, well, the curatorial premise is called Not All There, and so I wanted to deal with something that dealt with sound as a non-material medium. And so I invited artists to create works or present works that maybe they already had around this theme, and so and also all meanings of not being there. So however you interpret that, but about place and the transposition of information from one place to another, as well as maybe not being right in the head as well. So all those ideas I think are in play with the artists that we have. It's a great lineup coming up. Dave Diamond from Toronto, Charles Stankovic from Berlin, our own Tina M. Pearson from Victoria here, Jean Routhier from Vancouver, but originally from Montreal. And so that'll continue till June, and probably another artist or two will be added to the lineup before we wind the program out in July. So, yeah. And I really appreciate being invited to do this. I think it's great to have a spot to listen to sound art, and hopefully it's beginning of something great. So,
Yeah.
and it's great to be part of this, something that's been going on for so long. 10-year anniversary for a sound project, which is quite remarkable in Canada, I think.
Yeah, very good.
Selection, I think Like even just when you think about car practicing, you have a whole range, right? So you just yeah, right. I think he'd be better. I'm going to ask him though if he did any pitch.
And then another event that's coming up, and this is with Nora Young in the Open Word program, and Garth Martins is the coordinator of that program, and that is on February 5th. Nora Young, who many of you will know from CBC's Spark, she will be here talking about her new book, and her new book is about the virtual self, and we kind of thought that would be a nice, associated event to talk about, apps, digital apps, kind of the culture of mediated experiences. So we're looking forward to that talk as well. I want to thank, I mentioned the BC Arts Innovation because we really appreciate that fund, and the Canada Council for the Arts, the BC Arts Council, the CRD, the Bedford Regency Hotel that's helped us out with some accommodations, and bringing artists from across the country. It's always nice when local businesses can work with us to host and help the arts take place. And the BC Arts, or BC Gaming. But more specifically, I want to thank Helen Marzoff. Helen lets us do a lot of this crazy stuff. She encourages, she's been encouraging Peter and I for a long time to explore these different ideas and, take some risks and just kind of keep working at things. And I think things are going very well, and I want to congratulate her on some recent news about funding. It's good. We're in a good place. It's a healthy organization, and it's a good place to work. So if you want to volunteer, there's some colored things over there. Little pamphlets. There's lots of things to do. It's a really busy place, but it's good. And Miles Giesbrick, he's our. I was just saying to Miles that yesterday was one of those days setting up shows where you're working 10 hours straight and you wonder where your head is, but it felt good. We got a lot done, and I want to thank him. He knows what he's doing.
He definitely deserves the thanks because when I said, you know what, I'd like a room that's insulated, can you build it for me? He didn't even bat an eye. He just said, sure, and made it happen. So thank you, Miles.
Thank you. And Jacqueline Bortolucci. Jacqueline helps keep everything moving along, reminds us the things that we need to do, and it's good. It's very good. And thanks to Sophie Pouyen, who works on our graphic design. And also helps with thank you very much. And Sarah Fruckman, who's curatorial. I've had a lot of good conversations with Sarah, talking about the different programs that we're doing, and it's been great. It's been great learning myself about all this stuff. So I'll turn from that to, do you want to say anything else about the exhibition? Because what we're going to do, we'll talk a little bit about what the different projects are in the artists and what is kind of going on here in the exhibition. And then we'll end up over where Gabriel and Donato are going to do a performance. So we'll kind of move around the room. And then when we get to them, they'll kind of start their performance. You want to?
You want to say something and I'll back
Well,
away?
maybe we can start with Kathleen Ritter's project, which is on the billboard here. And it is called, Everything That Must Be Said Again. And that's the video projection onto this billboard structure. And then the megaphones, they're two separate pieces, but she kind of left it open. She said it's an open kind of work, and she left it up to us to kind of, figure out how we wanted to place the things. But that's what's going on. I'm going to say unfortunately, but Kathleen is in Paris right now. So she was doing the Canada Council residency, so she was unable to be here. And then we'll move to the left. Peter, do you want to introduce this one?
I think we lost them. I think we lost them. Everybody got lost. What happened? All of us. 15 minutes. 15 minutes is over. Can't listen anymore. No. Actually, what I want to say is it's really exciting that everyone can be here, that everyone's here. I'm very thankful that you're here. I think what's really important and what we all need to do actively is support our artist-run centers, because the artist-run center, more than anything, becomes a very important part of how a community develops. And the space where artists are able to do their work, to be able to investigate how we know things, to be able to investigate how we experience culture, to be able to investigate and create a reflection of how the world is working is very important. It's a privilege to be a part of this place. It's a privilege to see everyone here. What I like about this is that everyone's very active in this place. Everyone here, the staff, the executive director, there's a lot of fire. And when we present an exhibition like this, it's important to acknowledge that we're sharing this fire, the artist's fire. The work of making an exhibition is work, absolutely. And it is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful thing to see so many new faces here. So I want to say thank you. Also, my esteemed colleague, I called him my mentor earlier today, and he just kind of sloughed it off. But it's true. I've learned a lot over this process from this great guy. And so I'm thankful for that, so thank you. Thank you. I think what's also very important before I talk about this work is by Tanya Lukin-Linklater. She's currently living in North Bay. But what's important about this exhibition is I don't think we pulled any punches on this exhibition. Like, you know, you go to a museum, you go to an art gallery or whatever, and everything is sort of like experienced and mediated for you in a very particular way. Left to right, didactic panels, beautiful pictures, inspired by this idea of what it means to be a viewer. And Doug Jarvis and I, along with these artists, the artists in this exhibition, the wonderful artists in this exhibition, have presented work which is a challenge. It's challenging. You have to work at it. It's not easy. I don't know, are you up for the challenge? I think you are, yeah. Nothing here is very, you know, there's no, on the surface, I mean, the image here is beautiful, but you have to feel like you can swim inside of the image. Look at it. What you have here is a process where Tanya is an indigenous woman from Alaska, or what is called Alaska. She's married into a Cree family. She interviewed her partner's aunties who do beadwork. And what you have here is a typographical landscape of quotes from those interviews, rearranged to create something deeper, a mimesis of the land, perhaps. And then we also have some of the land here with us. And the interviews are about beadwork, which is a very specific art form, a very specific, highly established art form, which is about articulating your knowledge of the land. So, should I keep going? Oh, I should. I should keep going.
Nice segue.
So we have here an artist, a younger artist. Am I allowed to say that? Younger artist? She's 12. No, just kidding. Emerging. Her name's Olivia Wheaton. She's joined us, her artwork, and she has joined us from Sault Ste. Marie. And in particular, what's going on here is these artists in the exhibition are really pushing things about how we know. How do we know what we know? What is knowledge? What are the structures of knowledge? That, like really folding these around and not making it easy. Again, not making it easy at all. Inspired by those artists who created graphic scores and concrete poetry. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. You have to have a buy-in. You have to feel passionate about it. So Olivia's work in particular is very interesting to me because, first of all, you have beadwork here, which is very particular. We're all very familiar with it, or perhaps most of us are. She's taken a song, an Anishinaabe song, and sung it into a spectrograph, which then spits out a map. And then utilized this highly established, traditionally determined art form to represent the song again, to represent how we know again, to question these things. Also today we were privileged to have this very quiet performance happen. Olivia started at 5 and just recently finished. This performance is also like, it's a very moving performance. And the quiet of her performance kind of grabbed you, it grabbed me. This performance, in particular, the beads here represent language or how we know. And it started with this almost violent act of her cutting the beads off of the hanging loom, and they fall like blood. Helen Marzov said that beautiful description. It fell like blood. And somehow it enveloped this space here. And then the act of picking them up together, picking up language again, picking up how we know knowledge, but without guidance, just trying to figure it out and moving our body through emotion.
last few days. Kind of together.
What I appreciate about this is we're familiar with this idea of the ovoid, right? We've seen the ovoids. All of us have ovoids in our pocket, sort of thing. You know, we're familiar, right? What we have here is an ovoid within an ovoid within an ovoid. It's a dancing ovoid. Taking that two-dimensional piece of indigenous culture and really investigating it, how we know it, once again. How do we know it? Making it dance visually. And it's a powerful piece.
And this fall, we hosted the Indigenous Youth Artist Showcase, and Jesse Campbell, one of the artists in the group, is helping Bracken. You can see him pop up there in the video. And Owen is also here volunteering tonight, just to say. Okay, and I mentioned Michael Nardon's work, so his is the text for the exhibition that you can read as you walk up the stairs, and then it's also on the card, and there's piled or placed them in a couple of different places. Thank you. Kind of great to talk with Michael and for his interest in kind of the concrete poetry and the idea of what we were doing, and especially when we did the network shop where we were talking with him and Kathleen via the internet. And it was kind of a fun event with Peter, Chris, and I, and some of the other staff sitting there conversing back and forth and really trying to sketch out some of the ideas we were playing on. Yeah, thank you very much. And then I guess we'll kind of swing over to Gabriel and Donato. And when I contacted Donato to kind of ask him, what are you up to these days? Like, well, because I said we're working on a project here, looking at concrete poetry and different things. And he said, well, I've been transcribing laugh tracks from television and movies. So I thought, you know what? It made me laugh saying that or hearing that. So this is what he and his collaborator Gabriel have put together for tonight. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to you guys.
jaunty tune and tempo robanzo, soften up a crowd, huh? Let's see how soft you are. But first, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to my collaborator and he's graduated as a Master of Funny Arts from Simon Funny University in Vancouver. An accomplishment. It's difficult to be funny. However, is there anyone here who goes by the name of Rick? Rick. No Ricks? Not even a single Rick? Oh my God! I was sure someone here would be named Rick. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, by now you've figured out that you're in for some comedy. I know it's probably not what you expected. You probably expected some music or some performance art, maybe some poetry. So let me explain. I can't do performance art because of the requisite unity. And I left behind my true vocations of poetry and music for very good reasons. And that leaves me with comedy. You may also have guessed that I'm a little green as a comic. And so I hope you'll be supportive. In fact, before I can continue, I think I need to ask you one favor. I need you to promise me that you're going to laugh. I know that's a strange request. Normally, the comic is supposed to elicit humor by actually saying funny things. It shouldn't actually elicit laughter by making you promise to laugh. However, given the circumstances, given how green I am, given how depressed you are, you all are, because I can see how depressed you all are. It's very difficult out there nowadays. Given these things, I think it's appropriate. And I anticipated this situation, so I brought some laugh aids. These are laugh particles. They're real transcriptions of the sounds of human laughter. And as you know, laughter is an essential human thing. The only two species on the planet who truly laugh are methane worms and humans. Please pass this to me. Take some. So perhaps you've forgotten what laughter sounds like. These will show you what laughter sounds like. And what the sound of laughter looks like. Please pass them around. Now, the only sound that a comic really needs to hear is the sound of laughter. So, I'm just hoping that someone will do the brave thing. And right here, please just say to your peers in front of me that you promise to make an effort to laugh. It doesn't have to be real laughter, right? Just be the sounds, they'll help me get through this. But please, just someone, just turn and face your peers now and just promise me that you're going to laugh. Promise. Promise to laugh. Thank you. Okay. I'm so happy. Okay, would you just do one more thing and please just make the sounds? You've got laugh particles now. Would you just please? I just need to. Not yet. Please laugh only at appropriate intervals.